Welcome back, everybody. I know it's been a good minute. It's been a hot minute
Yeah.
since we did a podcast. For all the two people that missed us, I appreciate you. But for this topic, we're gonna be talking about the Justice League, Zack Snyder's cut, the true cuts, the Holy Trinity God cut, Zack Snyder's Justice League compared to whatever it came out like 4 years ago, whatever it was.
Yeah.
But just our takeaways, what we thought, things we liked, things that could have been somewhat better. But basically, us just fanboying over the whole movie. That's what this whole episode is
Yeah.
gonna be, pretty much. And just comparisons and shit like that. Things we want to bring up, things we want to say. Just two fanboys going about it in some Justice League. That's all it is.
Mhm. Mhm. All right.
So
All right. Where do you want to start with this, D?
so I think the main thing we should talk about first is just to let y'all know this is gonna be the most free flowing podcast you ever seen in your life.
Yeah. No
It's
plan.
gonna be
Zero plan. There's no
this
planning in this
this is
one
some
episode.
straight this is straight up just two dudes talking. So my main thing, not my main thing, but I'll say the first thing, my biggest, let's go with biggest takeaways. How about
Uh,
that?
yeah.
My my biggest takeaway, my probably my most favorite thing about the Zack Snyder's Justice League is the improved visuals. Oh my god, I cannot say it enough. The visuals were so much better in the Zack Snyder's than it was in the original. And what I did was, unfortunately, I watched 6 hours of Justice League. Four of them were great. Two of them were horrible because before the Zack Snyder one, I watched the original one so I could be like, oh, okay, see what's really different.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay, I did not do that. Okay,
Yeah,
I
I
did not
did
do
that.
that.
Fortunately, I don't recommend it for anybody.
Yeah,
But
don't do that.
but first off, Henry Cavill, he reshot all his scenes so he doesn't have that stupid, weird CGI shortened face because they had to cut out. If you guys didn't know, they had to CGI his mustache and his facial hair
Yeah.
because he was shooting Mission Impossible at the time and he couldn't cut off his facial hair from Mission Impossible. So they had to digitally remove everything for Justice League at the time. So they redid all his scenes, and now we got a actual real face for Superman, and not
Yes.
just the real face. We have Henry Cavill's face. So
Even better. I mean, it doesn't get better than that face, except for maybe PewDiePie, who won the award for best face or something like that.
his face. But the I don't know if you remember. I don't blame anybody if they don't remember. But the first scene in the Justice League movie is the kid with the camera phone pointing at Superman. That's the first scene in the movie where Superman saves a day and the kid has his phone. He's like, oh my God, Superman. And the first impression that you have of this movie is Henry Cavill's shortened face because they don't know how to digitally remove his mustache. So that's the first ever taste in your mouth watching Justice League is, I don't think Superman looks right.
Yeah.
So that was my number one thing was they fixed Superman
Visuals.
because
Yeah.
Superman. Also, the final arc, the final cut scene where the Justice League, the crew goes in and tries to take out um where freaking
Steppenwolf. Steppenwolf.
Steppenwolf was the filter for the fighting was completely red, like bright red. I don't know if you remember, but like
Yeah.
the whole
No, I
world,
remember. Yeah, it
yeah,
was
the
really
whole
bad.
the whole filter on the screen was
Yeah.
like rustic red,
Yeah.
and it hurt your eyes
Yeah. No, it
so
wasn't
much to
pleasant
watch
at
it.
all. Yeah.
And for this one, they went to the traditional like Man of Steel style,
Yeah.
where it was like this gray, because you don't really care about what the world around it looks like. You just you're watching
Yeah.
these boys go at it. Who the freak cares
Yeah.
about
What's
some
more
bright
important
red
is the
filter?
soundtrack, and they nailed the music. They nailed
Ooh,
it. Yep.
ooh, ooh.
Yes, that those fight scene music. Oh my fucking god, bro! I was getting goosebumps for every fight that was going on. It was so nice.
And each character intro had their own like soundtrack to go with it.
Yep.
And oh my god, even the opening scene where
Yeah.
Not Captain America, Superman has a hole in his chest and he's just screaming and like everything's like, because that's what it is. Like Superman's dead. You
Yeah.
felt that. You just felt like, oh shit, this dude died.
Yep.
And oof, those that soundtrack came. That
Yeah.
soundtrack.
The soundtrack
And
was real
then
nice.
and then when you're in Star Labs and Cyborg's dad was was like, yeah, this is Superman's ship, and it played the Man of Steel soundtrack. I
Yep.
said, ooh, ooh,
Yep.
it was so good. Oh my god! But what's your biggest takeaway for the
Uh,
Justice League?
so the visuals is huge, but I'll be a little bit more specific. So the Flash, um, you could feel the Speed Force, like you could feel it whenever he was going through the Speed Force. In the very first scene with the Flash showing his abilities when he saves the girl from the car crash,
Let's
dude,
look at close.
when he turned and tore through his shoes and then ran, like how he like went through the glass door, and then when he stopped on the street you could see the concrete like ripple under his feet, like dude, it was just oof, ooh, it was so good, dude. The Flash like made that movie for me. Like it was a great
Oh yeah,
movie,
yeah.
but he like made that movie. It was The Flash was so fucking good.
Oh
So
god, he was.
oh god, yeah, the visuals. Also a big takeaway is the actual character development. They actually had character development in this movie, and when it first came out and it was like 4 hours and people were like, "What the hell? It's 4 hours." I wasn't. I mean, I was surprised that it was 4 hours, but that it didn't like disconcern me. Like I wasn't concerned about it because it made sense that it was 4 hours. Because think about it, DC. Let's just compare DC to Marvel real quick. Just a little comparison. So Marvel, no, they don't have a 4 hour. The Avengers movies aren't 4 hours. You know, Endgame was close, but it wasn't 4 hours. Um, but the difference between them is that in Marvel, a lot of these superheroes have their own movies dedicated to them telling their story. Now you go over to DC with the Justice League, you got Superman who has one movie and it's pretty old now. It came out a while ago. You have Wonder Woman, who only has one movie in my mind because that second one was hot
Well,
garbage.
it only had it one at the time.
Oh yeah, at the time
So
there's only one, and then I don't even think Aquaman was out. Was Aquaman even out yet
no,
when that? No.
Aquaman's not.
So Aquaman wasn't out. The Flash didn't have his own movie. It was just Superman and Wonder Woman. So all of these characters were fresh. Like you have to develop them within the movie that you're putting them in. So it made sense that it was 4 hours, and I really liked Cyborg, who was like almost like an afterthought in the original, but in this one, like he was a huge, like critical part of the movie, and
He was pretty
he
much the main character.
he really was. Honestly, Cyborg was the main character, and you could see his development. Like he was a fucking star football player for Gotham City University, which I thought was really cool. Um, he was a fucking genius, like hacking into his university to change his friends' grades. Like it was crazy. It was really good. I liked his whole development, his story arc, which was completely missing in the original, along with a lot of other story arcs. So I liked that it was longer, so they could actually develop the characters a little bit more. That was my second
Yeah,
biggest takeaway.
my thing with the whole 4 hours thing is Warner Brothers did not do Zack Snyder a favor by saying, "Yo, make Justice League after I think what Marvel? When did Marvel come out with? Was it Endgame? Did they come out with Endgame just around that timeline? I
It
don't
was
know. I think it was
around.
announced or something like that.
Yeah. It was around that time. Yeah.
And to tell Zack Snyder to make a DCU
Yeah.
off of two movies
Yeah. That's
is a
rough.
bit much.
Yeah. So four
So
hours. Yeah. You're
four
lucky it was
hours is a
4
little.
hours.
Yeah, you're lucky for sure. But my main thing with Marvel and DC, something how I always view those two is Marvel is always about humans becoming gods, basically, and DC is always about gods becoming human. Like they always these godly figures or these strong figures get humanized in DC, and these Marvel people kind of have the same mixture or wherever stories you want to follow, but humans becoming something bigger than just being human, becoming an icon or something like that. You look at Captain America, is just a little boy, little skinny little white boy becoming the face of America. You look at Iron Man being a billionaire to becoming an absolute war machine. You look at Hulk becoming a god and then becoming human at the same time. But you look at DC, you look at Superman, he's Superman, but his storylines are always about him being human. You look at Wonder Woman, same thing. You look at Batman, even though he starts off as a kid being a hero, all his stories had to do with his human aspect. Nightwing, Red Hood, the Joker. It always reflects his human side more than the
Yeah.
Batman. So I always look at those two like, okay, one's trying to develop as a superhero, one's trying to become more human. So it's like, how do you take a universe that had 12 movies to describe all that and take this two movies and be like, yeah, we want this to be 2 hours long and you figure it out.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the fact that each character had their own thing, oh my god. Look,
I
I'm
loved
not the
it.
biggest I'm not the biggest cyborg fan,
Same.
but
Yeah.
his backstory, boy, that junk had me drooling when he's like watching the old Chinese lady go through the bank accounts,
Oh my
and
god, that part was so good. Oh my
I
god.
was like, drooling, bro. I was like, couldn't believe what I was watching for a second
Yeah.
because his whole arc, his dad, his story arc, his development, his purpose in the movie, his purpose in the Justice League was completely cut out in the original. He was just some dude that, oh, he was on Teen Titans. You know what I mean? He didn't know who this dude was.
Yep.
So Cyborg boy, oof,
Cyborg was really
he
good.
was
That was a
he
big
was beautiful.
upgrade. Big upgrade. Um and I guess another thing is that I liked that because if I recall in the it's been a hot minute since I've seen the original Justice League. In fact, I don't think I've ever sat down and watched the entire thing through in one sitting. I've seen all of it, but in parts because I just couldn't stand to watch the whole thing. But I believe they actually fought Darkseid at the end of the last one. Is that accurate, or did they not fight
No,
Darkseid?
Darkseid wasn't in it at all.
Oh, he wasn't in it at all. Okay,
He
so
he was even he wasn't even name dropped.
oh wow. Okay, so one thing I liked, and they're taking things away from Marvel, which Marvel did a lot of things right when they were booting up the MCU. So I mean, you can't blame them for doing that. So one thing I
No, they
liked that they mimicked from Marvel, which was a good thing, is they hinted Darkseid. You saw him, but he had no part in any of the fights. You didn't get to see like what he was capable of or anything. And Steppenwolf, the guy under him, is kind of. It reminds me of how Marvel was treating Thanos until Thanos came into the movies. Actually,
yeah.
he's this big bad. You have no idea what he's capable of. He's just like the Steppenwolf, who was pretty damn powerful, was shaking in his fucking boots, like talking to Darkseid, which just goes to show like how powerful this guy is. I'm excited to see how long it takes them to have Darkseid in it. I'm assuming he's probably going to be fighting in the next one, just with the way that Justice League ended. Um, but I'm curious to see like how badass they make Darkseid, and then what happens after Darkseid. Like this
Well,
is super into the future, but
the only negative for that is Zack Snyder already said he's not doing it again, and
right.
he already said his plans for the movies and stuff like that. So the storyline was already out there. So we might not even see,
We
what
might,
happens with.
but with as good as this movie is being received, because like it's blowing up right now because
Oh yeah,
it was fucking amazing. It was a great movie. It is blowing up right now. I would not be surprised to at least see Warner Brothers at least attempt to do another movie, and just seeing how well this one was received. Maybe Zack Snyder might not do it. Who knows? Maybe HBO will come out with a big enough paycheck, and he'll change his minds. But at least they see how it's supposed to be done.
yeah.
And who knows? Maybe they go out and they try to pay one of the Marvel directors. Like someone that's done one of the Marvel movies. So who knows? I am actually, for the first time in a long time, excited for the future of DC movies, because
Yeah,
after Wonder, yeah, yeah,
to be fair, for Warner Brothers to come out with a movie and release it saying, yeah, we're going to compete with Marvel, and it ended up being the one of the worst superhero movies that came out.
yeah,
For them to take a whole step back and go, everything we got rid of, we'll put it in a movie. We just let you do everything because the fans released the
yeah. It
the
was
Snyder
because of
cut.
it was because of petitions and like fans just pretty much screaming at Warner Brothers for years and years, and they finally did it. Yeah, no, it was
And
because of
they
the
finally
fans. Yeah,
Warner Brothers finally said, okay, we give in, and it ended up being one of the biggest movies.
yeah,
Right, in my opinion, it's one of my favorite superhero movies to come out for
a while.
DC and Marvel. Yeah,
Yeah, no, for sure. It was. I'm probably gonna watch it again sometime really soon. Honestly,
I
I'll
have
probably
to.
I'll probably sit down again and watch this 4 hour movie again. In a couple days, probably I'll probably watch it again. It was really good.
So one thing I didn't even realize. My girlfriend, she realized it, but I try to block it far in my head. That's probably why I didn't remember. Was the I don't know if you remember in the final showdown,
Yeah,
um, there was a family with the husband, the wife, and the two kids that Superman and Flash had to save during the
yeah,
whole fight.
yeah.
That wasn't in the
I
Zack
know.
Snyder part,
Yep.
and I thought about it, and it made so much sense because they're in, I forgot what it's called. I forget every time. It's a Modern
Siberia.
Warfare mission. Yeah, they're
They're
in a
in
Modern Warfare
Siberia.
mission, the most radioactive place where no one can live.
Yeah, and they
So
even
why is
said
this
it in
family
the
out there?
movie. Yeah, they said it's been uninhabited for like 20 or 30 years. It was super radioactive. Like no one lit. And then in the original cut of the movie, there's this random ass family that's living there. Yeah,
Yeah,
is
in the same place. They're
in
in the
the
same
in the same place.
place.
Yeah, it
So that was which cut away like 30 minutes of pointless scenes. So
yeah.
that was, my God, thank you,
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, because I
And
did
that's
not want
another
to watch
thing
it.
is there were no pointless scenes in this movie.
Mm-mm.
Every single scene in this 4 hour fucking movie had some type of purpose that was obvious. It
Yeah,
wasn't. It wasn't. There
and
was no filler. There was no filler in the
yeah,
movie.
in my opinion, I wasn't the biggest fan. I don't have any feeling towards him, anyways. But the story arc of Ben Affleck's Batman was definitely present. You could tell that he felt some type of way for being responsible for killing Superman.
Yep.
Like you
Yeah.
felt that throughout the movie that he has this thing on his shoulders because he even said it halfway through the movie and at the end of the movie, what are we working for? And he said, I'm going off of faith, which is
Yep.
something Batman never says. He
Never
never
does.
says,
He never says that.
yeah,
Which is
he's
why
like,
Alfred is flipping out. That's why
yeah.
Alfred. That's the whole point of Alfred like flipping out.
oh,
Like, what do you
oh,
mean faith? Like,
oh,
what? Like,
and
what if this
King,
goes wrong?
King. The amount of Alfred scenes in the movie was
I
beautiful.
I loved it. I loved Alfred.
Every scene that man was in, it was beautiful.
Yes, and
Him work on him
I
work on the gauntlet.
yes,
It was like, oh, okay, this is Alfred. In the
and
tea scene,
the T. That's what I was just about to say. The tea scene, bro, that shit was so funny. Like, it was bothering him so much that she was improperly making this tea. Like, it is the most Alfred thing that they could have possibly put in the movie. It was so funny.
it was beautiful. And so I said like Batman felt like he got his story. He didn't make any corny jokes of saying, oh man, maybe my back is bleeding, or oh man, I don't have any superpowers. And
Well, he did when Flash asked him what his superpower was. He said, "I'm rich," which it
yeah, he
was
said
just
that.
yeah,
Yeah, he said
yeah.
that.
That was funny though. That was funny.
But there was no like meaningless jokes.
Yeah,
Which Marvel, I gotta give Marvel credit. They have a lot of jokes, but they're not meaningless. They're not
right.
like,
They're witty. They're good
yeah,
jokes. Like they're
they're not
just
jokes just to be jokes. You know what I
yeah.
mean? They're there for a reason.
They make sense. Yes, Marvel is very good at that. Which they should be having. Characters like Iron Man and Spider Man who their entire personality is based around this witty funny thing that they have going on.
So I gotta say, now for one of the best characters in DC, Wonder Woman. Oh my God, Kane! When she entered that bank, that
Yes.
was one of the most meanest scenes. Boy, see when you talk about, oh, I want strong women characters. I want blah blah blah, whatever the hell you talk about. That's what I'm talking about, King.
Yeah.
That is an absolute beast
Yep.
right there. The way she just glides in and bounces people off the wall. I'm like, oh my God. And then the slow motion where the dude loads the machine gun and she pops one
Yes.
and then she just stares at him like, come on, bro. And then he just keeps going and she's just like, I said, oh my God. Oh my God. The only thing, the only thing that was a little confusing was she moves that fast, right?
Yeah.
She's basically God. And she takes the time to charge up her wrists
Yeah.
to blow the whole
Whole
wall
wall.
open.
It's the whole fucking
When she
wall.
could, when she when she could just like slide over and give him a good old gut punch, but no,
I
she
know.
needs to
She just blew
completely
the whole
blow
fucking wall out.
it.
Yeah, and when I saw that, I was like, well, that's a bit overkill. Like the first thing, that was like my first reaction. I was like, that was a bit overkill, but it was really cool.
And then
So
I'm happy they also embrace the fact that she's a warrior. Like that's her
yeah,
first thing is she's a warrior. Even with Stephen Wolf,
yeah, she was
he was
going
going,
toe to
oh
toe with Steppenwolf. Yeah,
yeah, the dude was like, oh, this Amazonian is mine. I want 1v1. And she was like, oh, okay, bro, 1v1.
yeah,
And it was so beautiful because that's what Wonder Woman is. It's just a beast. She's a warrior.
yep,
And I love the part where, her mom shoots over the arrow
yeah.
and
The era of Artemis. Yeah,
she goes down like Laura Croft and
yep,
finds like some ancient things. And that's something that wasn't original, but it was beautiful to watch because Wonder Woman's like 5,000 years old
yeah,
doing this thing, so she wouldn't have all this knowledge. So where
yep.
would she get it from? Well, she knows where the hell to go.
Yeah, yeah, exactly,
So this is
exactly.
nice to see some ancient history, some warrior abilities, some like pretty much like predator attitude
Yeah.
from Wonder Woman. That's something that was well what I seen from Wonder Woman 84 or whatever the hell it's called.
Oh my
And
god. Yeah, that movie. Jesus
and
Christ.
the original, the original Justice League, that was all missing.
Yep.
So
Yep.
I'm very happy they redeemed her. My God, they redeemed everybody basically. Just Flash, Cyborg, uh, Wonder Woman, Batman.
Aquaman.
Mm.
Everyone.
Okay, yeah.
Everyone was great. It
Oh,
was.
that's another thing. That's another thing I want to bring up. They added that one scene with Aquaman, and it made a world of difference because the first scene with I think it's his mom's like right hand man
Yeah, William
got
Defoe's
along.
character. Yeah, it's William
Yeah.
Defoe. Yeah. The Green Goblin,
Uh,
for you guys.
yeah, the Green Goblin.
Yeah.
When Green Goblin shows up, uh, he says, you gotta take the throne, you gotta take your rightful place, you gotta do this. Your half brother is trying to do this, and they didn't have that scene, which made it confusing when the Aquaman came out as a
Yeah.
movie. It didn't justify where that movie fit into the timeline
Yep.
because in the Justice League movie, he has the rightful trident
Yep.
of the sea, but we never. And the movie came out, he doesn't have the trident. It's his backstory. So I'm happy they finally added that scene in there to be like, yo, this is where that movie fits in. This is where we're at. Here
Yeah.
we are.
And he was using his mom's trident in
Yeah.
the Justice League. Yeah. No, it was. Yeah, which now you finally knew where the fuck that trident came from. Like for it's like it was his mom's. Um, so yeah, it was great. it
It
was
was it was a good movie.
it was one of the best superhero movies I've seen in a very long time. Like it was fucking awesome. Um, uh, I guess we can talk about maybe things that we weren't super psyched about.
I'll talk about one more thing, and then we'll talk about things we can part of that
Yeah,
could have been left out maybe.
yeah,
But when I was younger, my first two favorite superheroes were Wolverine and Superman.
hmm
And as I got older, I like more mature things naturally. So I felt like the comics I read and the movies I read about Superman kept staying the same thing. Like
yeah,
the Blue Boy Scout
hmm
was his nickname.
yeah.
And that doesn't sit right with me when you have Batman Killing Joke or, Daredevil Bad Day or something like that.
The
You have
Punisher
all
war
these
journals, bro. War journals, bro. The Punisher war journals. Mm.
So like Superman fell off a cliff for me because you have all these and then you have the Blue Boy Scout and it's like, ooh, like I just want like dude they call the Blue Boy Scout, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? But Man of Steel came out, which is one of my all-time favorite
it's a
superhero
great
movies. I love
movie.
that movie. And Batman vs Superman came out, which
I hated. I'll just
is
say I did not like it.
I didn't like it, but at the same time there were some parts in there I was like, okay.
There were some good parts, but overall, I hated
Yeah,
that
overall
movie.
it
Yeah,
was weird. And Henry Cavill's Superman, I love.
yeah.
I just love it. Kane, when I tell you,
The black
you can
suit.
even,
The black suit was
oh
so
my God,
nice.
Kane. When I tell you, you can even ask freaking Elena. Oh my God, you could feel the excitement in my heart because, to be honest with you, that whole feeling of the movie, to me at least, felt like they weren't going to win.
Yeah,
It just felt like they weren't going to win,
yeah,
and that made it so much more special when Superman comes back because that's what he is. The dude's hope.
yeah,
It's literally what's on his
yeah.
chest is
Yep.
hope.
It's literally that's what the S stands for. Yeah,
So the freaking the sea. I had like pure like if it was in a movie theater, I would be on my feet, clapping when Superman finally came back.
Yeah,
And cause, oh my God, Kane, just to see the embodiment of hope come back and pretty much bring life back to the Justice League
yeah.
in that scene. And oh my God, Kane, when he's going through his spaceship and he's looking at
Oh,
all the suits come out, and his father's talking in his head.
both his dads. Yeah,
Yeah,
it
both his
had. Yeah,
dads.
it was both of them alternating. I thought that was really awesome. Yeah,
And the his final suit comes out. It's, the red, blue, and yellow. And I'm like, okay. And then he turns away from that suit. I'm
and then
like,
it goes
don't
back.
tell.
Yeah, and then it goes back into the wall. I was like,
I said, no, don't tell me he's about to put on the black suit, please. And then, sure enough, that man walks out with the cape flowing, and I don't see red in that cape. I'm like, oh my God, Satan, he has the black suit. And I don't care what anybody says. Whatever Zack Snyder does to Superman's flight is absolutely beautiful. Because the way he put that fist on the rocks and it was just flowing around his
yeah,
arm, I was like, I was ready to like piss my pants. Because
yeah,
I was like, oh, this dude is about to come and wreck some stuff. And boy,
yes,
when that man came back, and even um, all the scenes where Lois was completely altered. Because I don't know if you remember the first one, but she was working. She
yep,
was working to get her mind off of Superman.
right,
And then that's when her mom, Superman's mom, came and said, you gotta chill.
yeah,
This was completely opposite. This was
yep,
like completely dead in the water. Lois was
yep. And she was
just
like, "You got to come
hope.
back to the land of the living. Yeah,
Yeah,
you gotta come back."
just just completely hopeless. And then, well, the guy who embodies hope comes back, and there
Oh,
she is. So Superman, for me, oh my God, mwah, it was beautiful. It made me feel like I was like 5 years old again, just going, "Oh my God, Superman!"
yes, yeah.
But
It was really good. I guess one little thing is I always have a hard time. Like when it comes to comic books, it's easy for me, and that like which one I prefer, Marvel or DC, and it's definitely DC as far as like comic books go. Um, but as far as the movies, I guess I've gone. I love DC. Like I love the Batman. Like the fucking Dark Knight series is amazing. You have the Joker. Um, like it's I like the darker shit, right? We both of us like we like that dark shit. Which
mhm.
Marvel, I mean, they try sometimes, but they don't always do a good job at it. Um, the one thing that I don't really love about DC is how Superman is always a cop out. It seems like he's Superman.
Yeah,
He's like in Marvel, like they have gods. They have gods in Marvel, like Thor. Thor's a fucking god. He's like a fucking 10, 20,000 year old Asgardian, like god. But you still see him get his ass wipes. Like he still gets the shit beaten out of him on almost a regular basis, honestly, in those movies. In just in him being on the Avengers, a god being on the Avengers doesn't, I mean, yeah, it helps a lot, but like it still like doesn't put the balance into their favor a ton. At least it doesn't seem like it. But you have the Justice League, and like they're getting their ass handed to them, and then Superman shows up, and it is an absolute wrap. Like it's just done and over with. Like I loved the movie, and I think they did a good job with Superman. They did Superman amazingly. In this movie, it's just that's like the one thing, just in general, not specifically this movie, but just about DC, um, that I tend to not love. But let's talk about the Joker.
oh
Um,
God,
I mean, we
was he in
have
the movie?
Sadly, uh, yeah, sadly he was. And if you didn't tell me that it was the Joker, I might have thought it was someone else. It was wow. Um,
I,
we'll talk about the epilogue, I guess, in whole, like the dream that he was having. What do you think What do you think the dream is like? It's pretty obvious what the dream is about, but do you think that is hinting or foreshadowing towards like an actual thing that's really going to happen in the DCU?
I think it's for sure the future of what we're gonna see. Um,
The
remember in
Flash
Batman vs
looks
Superman?
significantly older, and yes, it was in
Yeah,
Yeah,
and remember in Batman vs Superman, Flash comes to Bruce and he's like, "Yo, Lois, you gotta find Lois, make sure she's safe."
yeah,
And he goes back, and then they even mentioned it in the Justice League,
yep,
where he says, "I was sitting right here, and Barry came and told me
yep.
something about Lois." And he said, "I think it's not for the situation. I think it's for something else."
Darker. Yeah, he said it. I think it's something darker. That's what he said. Yeah.
So something I really noticed at the time was in the original Justice League and this Justice League, when they were bringing Superman back from life and letting the mother box hit the water, they cut out a whole dialogue that was in the original one. In the
Okay.
original one, Cyborg is connected to the ship, and he says you have to make sure when the cube hits the water exactly, you have to touch the cube for it to work because we don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
In this movie, the cube splashes into the water, and Cyborg sees the future, and then Barry makes it
Pulls
go
it out.
back up
Yeah.
and then touches it. So I think that, in a way, solidified that these nightmares that Batman has is the future
Yeah.
of when they actually fucked up. I think, and at the end, when they all die, and Flash pretty much goes, "Yeah, no, you didn't." And
Dude, that part. Oh my. Oh,
I don't care. I don't care what anybody says. That part was one of the greatest superhero things I've ever seen in my life. That dude
yeah, and he was
just,
like, "You just
oh
gotta go. You just gotta go faster than the speed of light, Barry. That's all you gotta do. Just go
yeah,
faster than the speed of light." And then it showed off his super healing. It showed off his fast healing ability that he has. Because he was shot,
uh,
and he was like, oh, in that moment where he's like, oh, I got the wind knocked out of me. Just give me a second. And then it pans down, and you see this fucking hole blasted through his side. I was like, oh my god, oh my
it
god,
was it was so
intense.
sexual. But I think the nightmare version is the actual thing because when uh when Steppenwolf was trying to unite all the three mother boxes, he also saw the future
Yep.
of where Darkseid converted Superman to his side. And when Superman was kneeling there, he's holding a pile of bones, which is most likely Lois.
Yep.
And then you see Superman, Wonder Woman's dead. He flies off. He has Batman's head. And I feel like, because Zack Snyder already said that Lois and Superman's kid is going to be the next Batman. So I
Oh,
think,
okay. I didn't know that. Okay.
yeah, I think what they're trying to plan is because at the end, he was saying, you didn't have the balls to die. You
Yep.
let Lois die.
Yep.
So I think the whole storyline would have been Batman sacrificing himself for Lois to make Superman stay, Superman.
Right.
And that's why their kid would have been the next Batman because, Batman's dead. But
Right.
how they get out of that whole nightmare thing and what that has to do with the Joker, what I think what was going on was Joker. They're gonna trick Superman. They're gonna have Joker dress as Batman and trick Superman to killing Batman. Be like, oh, I killed Batman, but really it would have been the Joker. So I
Uh
think that's why he was saying, "You need me and I need you," type
huh.
of thing.
Yeah.
And I think that's why Deathstroke, I mean not Deathstroke, Slade was like, is this, a good idea bringing that dude?
Yeah.
Because I think that was the whole thing where I'm gonna pose as Batman while Superman kills you. That's what I got from it. I'm not too sure. So I think that's why it was a major deal when Superman showed up and everybody's like, oh fuck,
Yeah.
because their whole plan got pretty much ruined.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think
It.
that's why Joker was laughing at the end because it was like, oh, here we are.
Yeah. It's I don't know. That would be interesting. I don't know if that was the plan. The only reason I think it might not be is because Batman seemed like he. I mean, of course, Batman has said many times that he was going to kill the Joker eventually, but in that scene he says it again, and of course it's pretty tense. The Joker, whatever whatever he's saying, whatever it means, is really getting under Batman's skin. And he says it, and it really seems like he means it, that he is going to be the one that kills the Joker whenever that time comes. So I don't know if Superman kills him, he's not the one killing him. But then again, it's more prominent to get out of the situation than it is for Batman to be the one that kills the Joker. So I could see it going either way. What I got is some serious Injustice vibes.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Injustice.
So I was thinking, like, are they doing the Injustice story? Like, is this Injustice? Are they actually going to do Injustice on the big screen? Which would be fucking awesome.
That would be amazing.
the
That would be amazing.
Injustice story arc is so fucking good. And then they could even to like for getting out of it, they could also maybe even tie in the Flash's Flashpoint paradox, like how he's going back in time and stuff like that to fix things. That could be another thing. They could like tie the two together in some way, and that would be absolutely sick.
They
Flashpoint
haven't said
paradox
anything.
is a
They
sick
haven't said
story
anything
arc.
about canceling Flash's movie.
Yeah, I hope they don't do
Flashpoint.
that. I hope they don't. Flashpoint is such a good story. Like I hope
Oh my
I
god.
really hope they get that right because that is such a good story. That's one of the best animated movies I've ever seen. The
Oh
animated
my
version
god.
of
So
Flashpoint
beautiful.
is
So
so good.
beautiful.
It's so good.
In that in
That
that in that ending where he's like, here's the letter from your parents, and then like
mm-hmm.
Bruce is just crying in his chair with the freaking letter.
Yep.
Oh my god.
That yeah. That's definitely up there as one of the best like animated movies I've seen, along with like The Killing Joke. Uh, Doomsday is another fucking amazing animated movie. DC has the best animated movies, like superhero animated movies, just period. They're all bangers. Like they are all so
Yeah.
good.
So I think also for the nightmare thing, I think what got swept, I don't think it was purposely swept under the rug. I think it was just foreshadowing things. But for the nightmare scene and something that Stephen Wolf and Darkseid were talking about was the anti-life equation. And for some, probably for most people, they had no idea what the hell they were talking about. Um, to put it into simple terms for those watching, um, basically the anti-life equation. He said he found it on Earth, and it makes sense because
It's
you know
Earth.
it's Earth.
Yeah.
But it's a mathematical equation, statistically proven that the rightful ruler of people, you can officially rule and dominate and control people,
Just any living
by
creatures. Yeah, just
any living
anything living.
creature,
Yeah.
anything, by destroying the ideal or hope of free will decisions or hope, basically. So the nightmare version is pretty much dark side getting the anti-life equation, which is how Superman becomes evil. Because if you zap Superman away from love, free will, and hope, then you have an empty vessel that you can use.
Yep.
So that's what the nightmare scene is Dark Side and his whole squad with the anti-life equation for people who may have gotten confused that whole
Yeah.
conversation because it was confusing at the time if you'd never heard of it.
Yeah.
It was just like I found the anti-life equation and it was like wait what are you talking about?
Yeah. Yeah. It's like you said, it's like I feel like they got the idea of it from a real life application, which is it's what the string it's what string theory is based off of. Now I don't know, there's literally like two people on the planet Earth that actually understand string theory. It's that insanely complicated, but the gist of it is that it's one math equation, and with this one equation, you can solve anything, like literally anything to do with the entire universe. Like this one equation will give you the answer to it. Um, so I feel like that's kind of like something they got that from, which I thought that was pretty cool. But yeah, it's this thing that the ancient gods created, and yeah, with it you can destroy free will and everything, which would be pretty much the only way you could control Superman. So yeah, I think you're right. Like that's what that nightmare situation was. Um, Darkseid having
Yeah,
gotten the inside
I
life. That
think
Lois Lane being dead probably doesn't help.
yeah, Lois Lane. It's probably that's why Barry keeps saying find Lois Lane and shit
Yeah.
like that. So I think the what would be the last Superman movie or whatever the hell they were gonna do in the beginning was have Batman sacrifice himself for Lois, and then we would have had the good ending to the world because
Yeah.
Superman would be Superman. But something I think was a huge bomb drop
Oh yeah,
that
I think we're thinking the same thing. I was about to say it because I didn't want us to not talk about it. You go ahead.
a huge bomb drop that came out of nowhere. That I mean, I saw it happen. I was like, okay, huh? Well, this freaking Martian Manhunter
Yes,
just
Martian.
comes out of he just
Yes.
he just shows up,
They don't
and because I
explain
was like,
him. They don't explain it. They don't do nothing. It's just like this like 10-second scene that you see him and he's like transforming into different people. It's just like what?
I was like,
What?
okay, okay, wait a second, what are we doing here? Well, I thought I was watching a nice scene between Lois and the mom, but no, I'm
Yep.
watching Martian Manhunter come out of nowhere and be the head of military all this time.
Yep.
And it was just like, okay, wait a second, hold up. And it was unbelievable because
I couldn't
you know
believe they
we
did that. Like it caught me off guard so much.
we had the big fight scene of Darkseid, and we saw the lanterns or one of the Green Lanterns
Yeah.
show up and get whooped, and then we see Martian Manhunter, and then I'm not too sure because I don't know a lot about this character because maybe I'm not interested in this character and he kind of seems like a dweeb to me. But I think the Atom was in the movie. Isn't Adam the Asian guy at the Star Labs? I think that's why they put so much focus on him because I think that's who Adam is. Because it says this is you have the keys now to
Yeah.
this whole headquarters, and
No. No.
I know that Adam is a big deal in Star Labs.
No,
So I don't know
because
if
no, that's not Adam. Adam. A good way to think of Adam is he's kind of like Shazam. Like as far as like
is he though.
Yeah. No, Dwayne Johnson is going to be playing Adam. He was officially casted as Adam. Oh yeah, like Adam is like a god basically. He's like a god. Like he's that
Man,
was him.
because but who's the dude who he miniaturizes himself into atoms and he moves around by jumping on atoms and
Wait, okay. I'm thinking of Black Adam.
yeah, that's
That
Black Adam for Dwayne Johnson.
who you're thinking of? Oh God, what's his name? I don't think it's Adam. I think it's something else. He's in Injustice too. He's a playable character in
Yeah,
Injustice too.
he's in it. I
Oh,
promise you, that's his name is the Atom. I know
is
it
it?
is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah, that's what's called the
Maybe
Atom.
maybe that is him. I don't know.
Really?
I didn't quite catch that. Like I didn't get that
Because it
vibe.
says
Like I don't know.
because they put an emphasis on him throughout the movie, and at the end they said this is your chip now.
Yeah, and they named him the director of nanotechnology. Was what he was the director of at the
So his
end.
name is Ryan Choi, and he's the only Asian dude we saw in that movie.
That's true.
I promise you, man. He
Maybe
was.
maybe that is Adam. I don't know. It could be. I didn't catch that when I watched it. It could be.
I'm looking it up right now. Justice League. It's the best way I could say Asian guy from Justice League. Because that's what I was thinking the whole time. Because I was like, I saw him throughout the movie and I was like, okay, big deal, whatever. And they had that final scene with him. And I was like, well, why would we care about that?
That's true.
Oh, yeah. See, it says not only adding more scenes to the Justice League, but also introducing fans to Ryan Choi, the Atom.
Oh, okay. Well, shit.
All right, so yeah, the Atom was introduced in
So they
the
had the
Justice League,
Atom and they had Martian Manhunter.
and probably Green Lantern because we saw his ring go back to home base.
Yeah. Huh.
Mm.
That movie did
I
a
don't blame
lot.
people. Yeah, I don't blame people for not recognizing the Atom. That dude's trash.
He's basically a not funny version of Ant-Man. Like he's the worst version of Ant-Man.
And Ant-Man's pretty bad too.
Yeah. The only reason I like Ant-Man in the Marvel movies is because Paul Rudd is just hilarious and he's just a good actor.
That's hilarious.
He's just a great actor. The guy's just fucking hilarious. Shit, yeah. I loved the scene at the very end where Martian Manhunter was talking to Bruce Wayne. Like that like after he woke up from the nightmare and he just walks out and sees this fucking alien like floating down. He's all chill. He's like, who are you?
And I'm so happy that we did not see these corny scenes with Flash and Superman at the end and going like, oh, who's faster? I wonder who's faster. Look, come on. We just saw Flash walk into the galaxy. Like
yeah, I know.
Like we know who's faster, bro. Like you know what I mean?
Yeah, that I thought that part was so stupid in the last movie. And like I told you earlier, I watched that movie with my stepdad who doesn't really understand any of this stuff. And he was insanely drunk while watching it, which was also really annoying. And like for like 20 minutes, he was going on about how he thought Superman was faster than the Flash. It was driving me so fucking crazy because the Flash is 100% faster than Superman. And it even shows it in the movie. All right, when Superman
it shows it in the movie.
When Superman was reawakened, and was kicking all their asses. Like yes, like the Flash was running, and yes, Superman could see him, like was watching him, and was fighting him. But you could see like the Flash was very easily moving out of the way. It's like Superman was moving way slower than the Flash was. And then on top
Yeah.
of that, Superman does not have access to the fucking Speed Force. that that's it. Like he just doesn't. He has 0% access to the fucking Speed Force. All right, and it was drove me so crazy because in one of like the really old Superman movies that my stepdad had watched,
I was just about to. I was just
yeah,
about to bring it up.
he flew around the Earth so fast that it went like he went back in time and the Earth's rotate. I was like, that doesn't. I was like, that doesn't mean anything. That movie has zero meaning or connectivity to like anything. Like, oh
Well,
my god.
first of all, if you just spin the Earth the
Yeah,
other
that
way,
doesn't go back in time. You just killed everyone on the Earth. That's what that means. If you stop the rotation of the Earth and start spinning it the other way, you just killed every single living thing on the Earth. Okay, that's what happens when the Earth stops spinning. You die. Everyone dies.
and
So,
not even that. Just from a basic standpoint, when I was like what 6 when I first saw that movie,
yeah.
I was like, wouldn't it just be nighttime again? Like, would
Yeah.
would it just be daytime or nighttime again? Like, we
Yeah.
just went the other way instead of daytime, just be nighttime.
How would we go
And it's
back in
like, ah,
time? Yeah. Yeah, it oh my like that was something my stepdad like brought up. Like, oh, but he did the Earth thing, and I was like, oh my god, like
he did a spinning.
this spinning. I just stopped talking to him at that point and was like just sat there in silence watching the movie because I was like, I
Well,
can't.
just think about the evolution of well, one movies, but two, just visuals because the way Superman goes back in time, he flies around the Earth super duper fast, and there you go. The way we see it now in
Oh my god,
2021,
the
dude,
flat.
we see.
Oh
I mean, I never seen a more prettier scene than that. Of see, like a part of me is like, I want to see that scene again. Like, I want to click on it right now
yeah, and
and
just
just
watch it
skip
over and over
forward to
again.
that scene. But that doesn't it like in a way it builds so much excitement for that one scene of seeing Flash just be the fastest thing known to
Yeah,
freaking
using
God.
the fucking Speed Force, bro.
Yeah.
Like this was the first time in any movie or TV show, including the Flash TV show, like in any movie or any TV show where they did a good job at showing the Speed Force.
Yeah.
This was such a non cheesy like this was the first non cheesy like time they've ever like represented the Speed Force. Like it made sense.
Oh yeah,
You
it's
could see it. You could feel it. Like it just like it
yeah.
was perfect. It was
Something
perfect.
something something I love that I don't think gets enough credit for is instead of the yellow lightning, it's blue lightning. For
Yes,
some reason that blue lightning hits different.
it
It's
does. It
just
does.
it's so clean. It's
I
just so
liked it.
smooth.
I
Oh
liked
my
it.
god. And people say like his running is weird, but like the way he just moves, like he just looks like he's like in water or something, is just ugh.
Well, think about
It's-
like he is running weirdly if you think about it, because like a normal person doesn't run like that. But you know he's not a normal person. He's running faster than the speed of fucking light. So when you're running that fast, there's this thing called momentum, and like if you watch the way he's running, he's like throwing his arms, like
yeah.
throwing them, which I don't know if you've ever seen like a speed racing or speed ice skating, like ice skaters, like speed skating.
Yeah, they throw their arms.
That's like what they look they're like throwing themselves forward and they're going so fucking fast, dude.
Yeah, they
It's
go.
crazy. So I mean it actually makes sense for the weird way he's running. It makes perfect sense. And I actually liked that attention to detail when I noticed that he was running a little differently. um,
And I do gotta say, that's probably my last point. Something that I was extremely proud of in that movie, something I loved dearest to my heart, is that dark side is the biggest baddest mother sucker in the DC universe, and they made you feel that.
Yep.
They made you, because in the original, he wasn't even announced in the
Yeah.
movie. Steppenwolf was just, oh, I'm Steppenwolf, I'm a bad guy, and they made Steppenwolf look like a little puppy every time Darkseid showed up on the screen,
I love that. Yep. I love that.
and just just to take a second, there's two things in that scene that I love the most. One, when that tube portal opens up and
And you see Dark Side.
you see Darkseid, but he's doing his iconic hands behind the back
Yep. Just
stance,
like staring at you,
and he just turns around like who dare looks at
like
me?
who the fuck are you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then they chop off his head, and he just
That
goes
scene was
okay.
so nice. That
He
scene
just
was
chops
so
off his
nice.
head and goes okay, and then curb stomps it.
Yeah, just
Like
smashes it.
yeah,
Like
like who
doesn't
the hell?
care at all. He
Yeah,
gives zero fucks that you just killed that guy. Does
yeah, like
not care.
who the hell are you, bro? Like,
He's just like, I didn't like that guy anyways. Like what I
yeah,
forgot his name already. Like
yeah,
he's
I don't
nothing. He's
know.
nothing.
But the thing that was beautiful is the first time we ever see Darkseid, see our heroes, they all die.
Yep. Yep.
That's like, I mean, what else do you need from that? They all die. Like they just melt into atoms, and it's up to Flash to rewrite time, basically.
Yep.
So that I loved because, to be honest with you, there's only three supervillains in my whole time of existence of DC and Marvel. There's only three supervillains. I was like, yo, when they show up on the page, when they show up on the screen, when they're mentioned on something, it makes me feel a certain way. Thanos was one of them.
Yep.
When he showed up in the comic books, he was that dude.
Yep. That
When you
fucks
see
shit
him,
up.
when you see him at the end credits of every single Marvel movie, you know that he was that dude.
Yep.
And then when you finally see him for the first time, and he dude like pretty much chokes Loki out,
Oh my
you
god,
just
and
go,
dude, when he beat the fuck out of the Hulk in hand to hand, dude, when I saw that, I was just like, what the fuck? And that the Hulk got the shit beat out of him so hard that he couldn't turn back into the Hulk after like a hot minute after that because the Hulk did not want to come out after he
not
just
even
got.
that, not
Oh
even
my.
that. They destroyed his whole character development too. Thanos just ruined his whole storyline, his whole character. He just said, "No, you're done, kid. You had a good run."
Bro, when I saw that, I was like, oh, I cannot fucking believe that this happened. Just beat the fucking shit out of him. Oh my
But
god.
he's one of them, and he shows up in comics. When he shows up in anything, I'm like, okay, you have my attention, Mr. Thanos.
Yes.
Dark Side, Dark Side's another mother sucker that when he shows up, I'm like, okay, here we are. You
Yep.
please don't do anything to my buddies.
Please don't kill
And
everyone I love. Please.
and my I think he's, besides Joker and people like that, but besides
Well, yeah, the
them,
Joker's
my
great, but like
alt
they don't have like power. Like it's not like
yeah,
just sheer fucking power.
my all-time favorite villain, and this would be my last point, for my all-time favorite villain
Oh, I'm
will
curious to
always
hear
be,
this. Okay.
oh, it will always be Doomsday, no matter what. Because he was that dude, not only killed Superman, but he
Yep.
was that dude that had no dialogue, no backstory, no story. He just showed up and you knew that was the bad guy.
He's no good. No
he's the,
bueno.
he's no. Like when you watch the animated film for Superman Doomsday
Beautiful.
and Doomsday
Beautiful.
shows up, you just okay. First of all, I said this. I think I said it before. I'm not sure, but I was like 8 when I first saw that movie,
Yeah,
and
I was about the same age. Yeah.
I remember crying
Yep.
at the scene
I think
of
I still
when.
cry whenever I watch that movie. I feel like I still
Well,
get teared up.
well at the time, Superman was like my favorite,
Yeah.
and Doomsday shows up, and it's the one scene in particular where the newscast is all around. You know, Lois is in the helicopter,
Yeah.
reporting what's going on, and Doomsday straight up grabs Superman by his hair and starts wailing on his stomach, and he's just coughing up blood constantly, and everybody's just watching it, and you hear the pounding going on, and I remember crying, going, I don't like this no more. Like, I don't, what's going on here? And I looked because I got HBO now, so I
Yeah.
looked, and it's only PG-13, and I was like, man, the times sure have changed, because he was getting waxed.
Yeah.
He was getting waxed, and Doomsday was that. First of all, what kind of name is Doomsday? And then,
Yeah.
and then if you keep beating on him more, the dude gains like 17 more spikes on his body, and just becomes a walking bone. And I was like, ah. So he'll always go down as just the baddest mother sucker I ever seen in my life, because he struck fear in my heart every time I see him. Comics, movies, whatever you want. If I see Doomsday, I'm going, yeah, I'm okay. I'm just gonna go the other way.
Yeah. 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 Doomsday is. That was if Doomsday had not been in Batman v Superman, I think I might have liked that movie. And I say that because that was the worst fucking okay, it's like the writers were like, all right, yeah, Batman v Superman, which in the comics is its own story arc. It's its
Yeah,
whole own thing. And then like some higher up exec or whatever was like, you know what we're missing? We're missing like a massive boss fight. Like, like let's like what about that Doomsday guy? Just throw him in there. In a nonsensical way. That makes again zero fucking sense. Just put him in there. Um, it was he was just shoehorned into that movie, and he was only in it for like what 30 minutes or something like that. Like at
yeah,
the
he was
end,
only in it for a good like 30 minutes.
like do you know how much money you just lost? As an like just thinking from a business point, you could have just released a whole ass Superman Doomsday movie. And no, instead you take two story arcs that had nothing to do with each other, and you just mashed them together in the worst way possible. And you lost. You played one of your biggest supervillain cards at the very start, and you lost it. Oh my god, like it was. I
And
was like,
they made it look like
I
they
was
made
like
it look like
sick to
King
my
Kong was
stomach.
shaved.
Yeah, I was like sick to my stomach when I saw Doomsday show up in that movie. I was like, oh god, oh no, why did they? Why? I was like, why? Why did you do this? It could have been so beautiful, like having Doomsday in its own thing, but no, no, you played your one of your biggest cards, and you only got 30 minutes out of it, and it ruined another movie. So yeah, it is.
At
Doomsday
least,
is yeah,
at least, I know we're getting off topic here, but
a little bit.
at least, if you're gonna do Doomsday, you gotta do the signature shot where the steel post is hanging up and Superman's cape is flapping in the wind.
Yep,
That's the most signature Doomsday shot in the universe. It's in every single thing.
yep,
Comic book covers, movie covers, graphic novels. It's always that steel pipe with the Superman cape flowing in the wind,
yep,
and you just know Superman's dead.
yeah. And I mean, it's not really off topic. We're talking about DC. We said
Yeah.
earlier that we were going to be all
Yeah,
over
we
the
just
place.
chill. We just cool it. We
Yeah,
just cool it. That's all it.
we're just talking about superheroes. That's all we're doing.
But I gotta say,
DC.
man, that Justice League movie, man, that it made me sad, to be honest with you, because I just know that I have a feeling that it's just like, man, we could have had something here.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
We could have had something here because, as you know, as many people know, I got kind of tired of Marvel. I feel
Yeah.
like, in my opinion, Infinity War should have been the end. It feels like a good end. You stayed with it for 13 years, and I just think everything needs an ending. It's at some point. So, it feels for me, it feels kind of weird when you have this big send off of all our main characters, and then like 4 months later, there's a new Marvel movie, and it's just like, ugh, it just leaves a weird taste in my mouth. Like, okay, what was the point of having this giant, massive movie? But in my opinion, Justice League, man, it made me sad because it was like we could have had this more mature, combating with Marvel, more kid friendly. And it could have been like perfect unity of which it was in some way. I mean, Winter Soldier came out Friday,
Yep.
and we had Justice League, and everybody was like, "Oh shit, we're in perfect harmony right now."
Yeah. Yeah.
And then
Go
we're
ahead.
not.
Yeah. Yeah. It's yeah, Marvel, I don't know. My opinion over time has shifted like back and forth a little bit with Marvel. Have you, just out of curiosity, did you watch Winter Soldier, the first, or not Winter Soldier, the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, the first episode?
I haven't. I am gonna watch it, but I haven't watched it.
Oh god. I liked it. It was good. But it's only 6 episodes.
Mm.
I was kind of upset when I found out about that. But um with Marvel, that and the ending, I don't, it's just the ending of WandaVision. The more I think about it, the more I dislike it. It didn't make a whole lot of sense, but yeah, they are stretching it. They are stretching it. Um, and I mean, I liked Endgame for the most part. For the most part, I liked it.
It was a good send off. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah, it was a good send off. And that was the end of whatever phase 3, I think is what it was, what they're calling it now. We're going into phase 4. Um, I am excited for Marvel still because there are more villains than Thanos. Like
Yeah.
just like with DC, like there are bigger baddies than Darkseid, or at least people on equal level to Darkseid. So if done right, they can do a whole nother spiel and it be just as good for the most part. Just depending on this is the thing. Like with Marvel, because it's been going on for so long, it's like how can you a good movie or good anything series needs character development, which I talk about, I feel like, in every single podcast we have, whether it's video games or movies or whatever. But character development is just it's that important. Like
Yeah.
if there isn't any progression with the actual human beings being human, like if there's no progression with that, it's like what's the point of the movie really? Like, you know what I mean? Like, we're adults now. We've grown up a little bit. We're, like you said, we like a little bit more mature content. So I don't typically watch things that are just straight up nonsensical action anymore. That's just not really my thing, unless it's Mortal Kombat. That's but 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 like in movies, like the thing I care the most about typically is the actual characters and like their story within what's going on. Like, how are they changing? And Marvel's been going on for so long with the same characters. It's like, how much more can you develop these people
Yeah.
without creating these whole entirely new story arcs? Which is what it seems like they're doing, or at least trying to do, is that they're trying to start with phase 4, like with Falcon and the Winter Soldier. They bring up some new things that they've never really talked about in the movies before, which I thought was cool. Some new like side things character development wise. So I'm still excited for it. The thing that's going to make or break it is who's the next villain. Like who's the main villain in this phase 4, which I don't think anyone really knows yet. There's of course lots of speculation, but it's definitely not set yet who it is, like confirmed. Um, and if they can bring in more heroes, like where is the X-Men? Where is Fantastic Four? Like those, I feel like those characters will bring new life into the movies. And
Yeah, I
DC,
just
DC man, like that Justice League movie. If they could have done that 4 years ago, like they would have had a straight up competitor easily with the Avengers easily.
yeah.
So it is sad because I love DC and like their movies have been horseshit up until now. And it's
Yeah,
sad. It's just sad.
my thing is we just imagine, boy, I could have been the happiest fella, but now I'm the most depressed, suicidal motherfucker. But we could have had this Justice League come out way back when.
And we could have had
At
the
the same
next one come
time,
out with Endgame. We could have had
well,
Endgame in
not
the
even
next
that.
Justice League.
Not even that. At the time, we had Daredevil, we had Punisher,
Yep.
which were the type of Marvel things I wanted to see
Yes.
because they were dark things.
Daredevil was
With
so fucking good.
It
Oh
was
my
so
god.
good. It was so good. And then you look at what happened with Wonder Woman 84 or whatever the hell it's called, and the new some of the new Marvel movies and the new TV shows, and it's just like it's never gonna be what that Daredevil and Punisher was. You know what I mean? It feels like it's never gonna be that again, which has me a little upset because it's like your main audience that's been with you for 14 years now.
Yeah.
I was like 11. So yeah, these movies were cool. But now now I'm 23. Seeing the same movie over and over again
Yeah.
doesn't interest me. I want to see some booty. I want to see some butts get slapped. I want to see something that shows me, okay, here we are. That's why Daredevil was like, oh, okay, here we are. I mean,
Yes.
Punisher's hallway scenes,
Oh my
okay,
god.
yeah, here we are. You see Justice League, and even the Wonder Woman movie was amazing
Yeah, it
because
was.
it was a dark ass movie. It was World War I, so it was like, holy shite, here we are. And then it feels like we just all went downhill again with the whole kid friendly shit.
Yeah. Yeah, I that's definitely true. And one thing that I heard is that Henry Cox is actually going to be in the next Spider-Man movie because I guess
Yeah, I heard that too.
the story arc is that Spider-Man is gonna have to get a lawyer of some sort to help him with the whole thing that happened at the end of Far From Home or whatever that the last Spider-Man movie was, and that's how he gets introduced to Henry Cox. Which hopefully we get to see some Daredevil shit. I highly doubt it. I highly doubt we will see
But at the
even.
same at the same time, Kane, I don't want to see Daredevil in this type of Marvel universe. I want to see him in
But
the Netflix Marvel
no,
universe.
I know. But the fact that they're keeping the same actor makes you
Yeah, that
think
is good.
one that's a huge plus because that does open the possibility that maybe they're going to keep what happened in the Netflix series as canon. Maybe that is like that's his backstory still, even in the MCU now, and that opens the door for that same dark shit to spill over into the movies whenever he's in it. You know what I mean? So I
Mhm.
do not expect to see any of it in the next Spider-Man. Like I highly doubt we will even get to see him in costume or see his costume. Maybe at the end credits, like we'll see him in the costume or see like a flash of his costume in his closet or some shit like that. But for those future movies, if they're keeping the same actor and bringing him in, I am a little optimistic that we might start to see some of that stuff spill over.
That would be nice. But to send it off, Justice League was an absolute beautiful ass movie. My
Yes.
God, I loved every single second. It had me drawn. For me, I don't know about anybody else. For me, I didn't even feel like I was watching it for 4 hours.
No, it didn't
I
feel
I
like
like
4 hours.
I did not want the movie to end. It from Batman. Batman didn't have major scenes, but Batman, Wonder Woman, Superman coming back, Flash having his god scenes. Even though I don't fuck with Aquaman, I don't care who actor plays Aquaman. Aquaman's always Aquaman. He's always gonna be talking to fishes. I do not care what the hell he does in his life.
Oh
That
my
man is always going to be Aquaman, the most laughing stock character I could think of. I don't care if Jason Momoa, Keanu Reeves, freaking whatever the hell you want, whoever you want to play that man. Aquaman's gonna be Aquaman. I don't care if he takes off his shirt and downs a bottle of whiskey. That does not convince me that that dude is a G. All right, but Martian Manhunter, the Atom, all those things was like, okay, this is what we deserved. The fans got what they wanted. Thank you, Zack Snyder. The soundtrack, oh my god, the end credits of Hallelujah playing. Oh, it
yes.
was so good. Each cyborg's backstory. Oh my god, it was so good. It was just such a good movie. It's a shame it had to be all washed away thanks to Warner Brothers going, oh, let's make it friendly for the kids. Because if you win the kids over, you win the whole war. So
Yeah. Yeah.
there's my send off, man.
All right. Well, I guess my send off is I pretty much just second everything that you just said, except the Aquaman part. I do personally like Aquaman more so. Now he's definitely not my favorite, but I like him more. I think they're doing a good job at making him seem more relevant because when Aquaman was first introduced, he was definitely like, when I mean first introduced, I mean when he was created, like when Aquaman was created, he was 100% the biggest fucking joke in the history of superheroes. And there are some stupid superheroes out there. Like if you just look up like a top 10 list of dumbest superpowers or dumbest superheroes, like there are some stupid ones out there, but he was one of the biggest jokes I've ever seen. Because his whole thing was literally he could talk to fish. Like that was
It
literally
was it
all he did.
was
That was his whole thing. That was it.
it was the deep. It was the deep from
Yes,
freaking
it
the
was the
boys.
yeah. That's what he was. I think they've done a good job at making him a little more than that. So I do like
Yeah,
him.
they made him
I like him. He's not my
things.
favorite, but I do like him as
Yeah, he's better now.
yes, he definitely is. He was a huge joke. But yes, amazing movie. One of the best movies I've seen in a hot minute. Um, if you guys enjoyed the podcast, please leave us a like, maybe subscribe. You can catch us on YouTube here, which is if you can see us, that's where you're watching it. Or you can catch us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify Podcasts or even Google Podcasts. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And GG.
GG boys.